Never celebrate a raise too fast, because for most people, a raise does not make them richer. It just makes their life more expensive. 1 month, they're making $3,000. Then they get promoted. Now they're making $4,000. And for about 2 weeks, life feels amazing. They start thinking, finally, I can breathe. Then something weird happens. The old apartment suddenly feels too small. The old car suddenly feels embarrassing. The normal lunch from home suddenly feels boring. The cheap gym suddenly feels basic. The phone still works, but now it feels outdated. And slowly, without even noticing, that extra money disappears. Not because someone stole it, not because they made one huge mistake, but because their lifestyle quietly expanded to eat the raise. And this is why so many people work harder, earn more, get promoted, and still feel like they are in the exact same financial place 5 years later. Look, this is not about being lazy. This is not about saying you should never enjoy your money. That advice is annoying. You work hard. You should enjoy life. But here's the thing, if every raise becomes a better car, a nicer apartment, more takeout, more subscriptions, better clothes, more trips, and more random spending, then your income went up. But your freedom did not. You just upgraded the cage. And this is where most people get trapped. They think the goal is to earn more money, but the real goal is to keep more of the money you earn. Because if you earn more and spend more at the same speed, nothing changes. You are just broke at a higher level. And yes, that sounds harsh, but you've probably seen it. Someone gets a raise and suddenly they are acting like a different person. They used to drive a normal car. Now they need a car payment. They used to cook at home. Now they order food 4 times a week because they're busy. They used to be fine with their clothes. Now they need better brands because they deserve it. They used to save a little. Now they say, I'll save after the next raise. But the next raise comes and the same thing happens again. More money comes in. More money goes out. No savings, no investments, no emergency fund, no real progress, just nicer bills. Here's what most people don't realize. Lifestyle inflation feels like progress. That's why it's so dangerous. It does not feel like a mistake. It feels like reward. It feels like I worked hard, so I deserve this. It feels like I'm not poor anymore, so I shouldn't live like I'm poor. It feels like everyone at my level spends like this. And honestly, that last one is one of the biggest traps because when your income goes up, your social circle often changes too. You work with people who spend more. You see people going to nicer restaurants. You hear coworkers talking about vacations. You see friends upgrading apartments. You see people financing cars they can barely afford. And if everyone around you is doing it, it starts to feel normal. But normal is not the same thing as smart. Normal is credit card debt. Normal is living paycheck to paycheck. Normal is saying, I make decent money, but I have no idea where it goes. Normal is being one emergency away from panic. According to recent paycheck to paycheck surveys, around 62% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And even among people earning over $100,000 a year, about 44% still report living paycheck to paycheck. Think about that. Over $100,000 a year and still waiting for the next paycheck. That tells you something important. The problem is not always income. Sometimes it is behavior, sometimes it is pressure, sometimes it is ego, sometimes it is comfort, and sometimes it is simply not having a system. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but everything is expensive now. And yes, that is true. Rent is expensive, groceries are expensive, cars are expensive, healthcare is expensive, life is not cheap. I'm not pretending people are broke just because they buy coffee. That would be too simple. But there is a difference between real cost of living and lifestyle inflation. Real cost of living is rent going up. Lifestyle inflation is choosing the apartment that eats the entire raise. Real cost of living is groceries costing more. Lifestyle inflation is ordering delivery because cooking feels annoying. Real cost of living is needing transportation. Lifestyle inflation is getting a car payment just because your income went up. Real cost of living is buying clothes you need. Lifestyle inflation is buying clothes to match a version of yourself you want other people to see. And that is the part nobody wants to talk about. A lot of spending is not about the thing, it is about identity. People don't just buy the car, they buy the feeling of being successful. They don't just buy the apartment, they buy the feeling that their life is finally moving forward. They don't just buy the expensive dinner, they buy the feeling of not being behind. They don't just buy the new phone, they buy the feeling of being updated, modern, included. And that is why personal finance is not just math, it is psychology. If money was only math, everyone would be rich because the math is not that complicated. Spend less than you earn, save the difference, invest consistently, avoid high interest debt. Repeat for years, that's it. Simple, but not easy because your brain does not care about your future self as much as it cares about feeling good right now. Your brain wants comfort now, status now, pleasure now, relief now, a package arriving tomorrow, a meal delivered in 30 minutes, a car that makes you feel proud today, and that future version of you, the one who wants freedom, security, and peace. Your brain treats that person almost like a stranger. That's why lifestyle inflation is so powerful. It gives you a small emotional reward right now while quietly stealing from your future, and you don't feel the damage immediately. If you spend an extra $20 today, your life does not collapse. If you add one more subscription, nothing dramatic happens. If you upgrade your car payment, you can still survive. If you go out this weekend, it feels normal, but repeat that for years. And suddenly you look back and ask, where did all my money go? It went into tiny upgrades. A slightly better apartment, a slightly better car, a slightly better phone, slightly more eating out, slightly more shopping, slightly more convenience, slightly more comfort. None of it felt huge, but together it stole your wealth. Imagine you get a $500 monthly raise after taxes. That feels great. Most people immediately start thinking about what they can afford now. Maybe a car upgrade for $350 a month, a few more dinners out, a nicer gym, more online shopping. And just like that, the raise is gone. But let's say you did something different. Let's say you kept your lifestyle almost the same and invested that $500 every month. At an average 8% annual return over 30 years, that could grow to over $745,000. That is not magic. That is just math plus time. Now compare both versions. Person one gets the raise and upgrades everything. 30 years later, they have memories, some old receipts, maybe a car they no longer drive, and the same stress. Person two gets the same raise, keeps their life stable, invests first, and quietly builds hundreds of thousands of dollars. Same raise, different behavior, completely different life. This is why the first raise is so important. Not because it is the biggest raise you will ever get, but because it trains your pattern. If your first reaction to more money is more spending, you create a habit. Then the next raise comes and you do it again. Then the bonus comes and you spend it before it lands. Then the tax refund comes and it disappears. Then you make more money, but your financial stress stays the same. And this is how people become trapped in what I call the invisible treadmill. You are moving faster. You are earning more. You are working harder, but you are not actually getting closer to freedom. You are just running in place with better shoes. And the scary part is from the outside, it looks like success. Better car, better clothes, better restaurants, better vacations, better apartment. But behind the scenes, there is no cushion, no real savings, no investments growing, no emergency plan, no freedom, just higher fixed expenses. And fixed expenses are where lifestyle inflation becomes dangerous. Because if you buy something once, it hurts once. But if you upgrade your lifestyle with monthly payments, it hurts every month. A car payment, a bigger rent payment, insurance, subscriptions, phone plan, gym membership, financing furniture, buy now, pay later, credit card minimums. These things turn your future paychecks into promises you already made. Before the month starts, your money is already gone. That is why people feel trapped. They don't own their income anymore. Their bills own it first. Then they get whatever is left. And if there is nothing left, they blame the paycheck. But sometimes the paycheck is not the problem. The promises attached to the paycheck are the problem. Here's a simple way to see it. If you make $3,000 a month and your fixed expenses are $2,700, you're not free. You have $300 of breathing room. If you get a raise and now make $4,000 a month, but your fixed expenses rise to $3,700, you are still not free. You still have $300 of breathing room. Your income changed. Your life did not. You just made the same problem more expensive. This is why some people making $50,000 are calmer than people making $120,000, not because $50,000 is better, but because the person making $50,000 might have control, and the person making $120,000 might have built a lifestyle that requires $120,000 just to survive. That is a scary place to be, because when you need every dollar of a high income, you are not rich. You are fragile, one job loss. One medical bill, one car repair, one rent increase, one slow month, and everything starts shaking. The Federal Reserve's 2024 household survey found that only 63% of adults could cover a $400 emergency using cash or something similar. That means a large share of people would need to borrow, sell something, use credit, or simply not pay. And again, this is not only about low income, this is about financial margin. Margin means space. Space between what you earn and what you spend. Space between your bills and your paycheck. Space between an emergency and a disaster. Space between work and panic. Wealth starts with margin. Not luxury, not looking successful, margin. If your income rises but your margin does not, you are not getting wealthier. You're just getting more expensive. Now the question is, how do you stop it? Because saying just spend less is lazy advice. Most people already know they should spend less. The real problem is that they don't have rules before the money arrives. And if you don't give your money a job before it hits your account, your emotions will give it a job after. That job will usually be comfort, convenience, status, or impulse. So here's the first rule. When you get a raise, pretend you only got half of it. If your paycheck goes up by $500 a month, you are allowed to improve your life by $250. But the other $250 must go toward wealth. Emergency fund, debt payoff, retirement account, index funds, whatever fits your situation. But it cannot become lifestyle. This one rule lets you enjoy progress without destroying progress, because the goal is not to suffer. The goal is to stop letting every raise disappear. Second rule. Increase your investments before you increase your lifestyle, not after, before. Because if you say, I'll spend first and invest what's left, there will usually be nothing left. But if you invest first, your lifestyle adjusts around what remains. This is why automation is so powerful. Set the transfer, set the retirement contribution, set the investment, make it boring, make it automatic, make it happen before your brain starts negotiating. Because your brain is a professional negotiator when it wants comfort. It will say, you had a hard week. It will say, you deserve it. It will say, it's only $40. It will say, you'll start next month. And if you listen every time, next month never comes. Third rule. Watch your fixed expenses like your freedom depends on it, because it does. You can fix coffee, you can fix subscriptions, you can fix random shopping, but a huge rent payment or car payment is much harder to escape. Before you upgrade any monthly bill, ask yourself one question. Will I still be happy paying this 6 months from now? Because the excitement fades. but the payment stays. That new car feeling fades. The payment stays. That apartment excitement fades. The higher rent stays. That phone excitement fades. The monthly plan stays. This is how lifestyle inflation locks people in. It turns short excitement into long obligation. Fourth rule, create a rich life list before you earn more. This sounds simple, but it matters. Most people don't define what actually improves their life, so they copy other people, they upgrade everything because they never decided what matters. Maybe you genuinely love travel. Fine, spend on travel. Maybe you care about living alone. Fine, spend on that. Maybe good food matters to you. Fine. But if everything matters, nothing matters. You cannot upgrade every category and still build wealth unless your income is massive. So choose, pick the few things that truly improve your life, then cut the fake upgrades, the things you buy because you're bored, the things you buy because other people expect it, the things you buy because you want to look like you're doing better. That is where a lot of money comes back. Fifth rule, use raises to buy freedom, not approval. This is the deep one. A lot of lifestyle inflation is really approval inflation. People get more money, then use it to prove something, prove they are successful, prove they are not struggling, prove they belong, prove they made it. But the people you are trying to impress are usually too busy worrying about their own money. And even if they notice, the feeling does not last. You buy the thing. You get the compliment. You feel good for a moment. Then it becomes normal. And now you need the next thing. That is a trap. Freedom is quieter. Nobody claps when you increase your emergency fund. Nobody praises you for investing $300 a month. Nobody sees you avoid a bad car loan. Nobody cheers when you keep your rent reasonable. But those quiet moves are what change your life. The loud purchases make people think you're winning. The quiet decisions actually make you win. And this is the key moment. The raise is not the reward. The raise is the tool. Most people treat extra income like permission to spend, but wealthy people treat extra income like fuel. Fuel for investments, fuel for debt freedom, fuel for options, fuel for not needing to panic, fuel for walking away from a bad job, fuel for helping family without destroying themselves, fuel for sleeping better. That is what money is supposed to do. Money is not just for buying nicer things. Money is for buying back control. And once you understand that, lifestyle inflation starts to look different. That $500 raise is not just $500. It is a choice. It can become another payment, or it can become future freedom. It can become a nicer image, or it can become real security. It can become temporary comfort, or it can become long-term power. Now, this does not mean you should live like you are broke forever. That is not the point. The point is to let your lifestyle grow slower than your income. That sentence can change your entire financial life. Let your lifestyle grow slower than your income. If your income goes up 10%, maybe your lifestyle goes up 3%. If your income goes up $1,000, maybe you enjoy $300 and invest $700. If your bonus comes in, maybe you spend a small piece and use the rest to build your future. That is how you avoid feeling deprived while still getting ahead. You do not need to be perfect. You need a gap between earning and spending. The bigger that gap becomes, the faster your life changes. At first, the gap builds an emergency fund. Then it kills debt. Then it starts investing. Then the investments start growing. Then your money starts making money. Then you wake up one day and realize you are not as scared anymore. That is the real flex, not the car, not the watch, not the apartment, not the vacation pictures. The real flex is not panicking when something breaks. The real flex is not needing to wait for payday. The real flex is having options. The real flex is being able to say no. No to bad debt. No to pressure. No to jobs that treat you badly. No to living a life that looks good but feels stressful. And it starts with what you do after your next raise. So if you get paid more this year, do not rush to upgrade everything. Pause, wait, let the money sit. Decide on purpose, increase your investments first, build your emergency fund, pay down expensive debt. Then choose one small lifestyle upgrade that actually makes your life better. One, not five, because the goal is not to punish yourself. The goal is to stop losing the game right after you start winning. Most people do not stay broke because they never earn more. Many people stay broke because every time they earn more, they become more expensive to maintain. Do not let that be you. The next time your income goes up, ask yourself one thing. Am I using this raise to look richer or to become freer? Watch the next video if you want to stop the paycheck cycle.